Welcome to ChipShipper's first training video live on Twitch and recorded on YouTube. What is the goal of this training session? I'm doing this training to determine the hand range of our opponent, pre-flop, and how is the board on the flop, after the action on the flop, at the turn and at the river. In general, how to think in ranges. Second point, which range does the enemy give us due to our action? And last but not least, blockers in relation to river bluffs. So first we need a program like Hold'em Manager or Poker Tracker. I used to use only Hold'em Manager, but since 2018 I switched to Poker Tracker 4 and I think it's better. It's a bit of a matter of taste, but in my experience the Poker Tracker runs more stable than Hold'em Manager and it acts faster in the background than Hold'em Manager. So second, we need a visual representation of the hand range of our enemies. Either you make yourself a small Excel spreadsheet, or for our purposes today, also reaches pokerhandrange.com, as I did here on this side. And I already put in a hand range at 13.5%, which I think is pretty much reasonable raising range pre-flop with 30 big blinds or higher. So what we're gonna do now is point 1. Determination of hand range pre-flop. We only consider spots where there is a pre-flop raise and a call from us, of course, or vice versa. Of course it depends on the position and how deep we are in the tournament, but this training will be about standard situations where we and the average stack is usually playing at the beginning of the tournament with 30 plus big blinds, usually 100 big blinds at the start. The average raises pre-flop is 2.5 big blind to 3 big blinds with hand range 13.5%. All the Broadway cards, pocket pairs down to pocket 6 and ace 5 suited to ace 2, ace deuce. Then we have to ask ourselves questions because of the structure of the flop. Is it a wet board or rather dry? If flush draws are possible on the flop and possibly a straight, then caution is advised. But at the same time, we can also get value on each street, you know. So, the next point, determining the hand rank of our opponents at the flop. For example, we have this dry board, this dry flop here, deuce 7-9 rainbow flop. So, we only get value from loose players who also call with a 10-8 suited or not suited. Most players with overcards will fold on a pot bet on a flop. Actually, I guess only the sets 7 and 9 will call if we're betting the flop. Okay, so we're gonna see what happens at the turn. So if our opponent pays, we will knock out all overcards in the situations, like the off-suited overcards here. I don't think... maybe ace-king is in. We leave the suited cards in the range as some players cannot fold and hope for the turn to pick a flush draw. But in this example, flop deuce 7-9 rainbow gets a king on the turn. In most cases a flush draw is now possible on the turn. And we bet again with about 50% of pot, regardless of our hand. It's just like we can judge the opposing range. Then he should fold 10s, jacks, and queens because of the king. Then the most combos, like a few gut shots like 10 jack suited, the queen jack, queen 10 suited, and yeah, those two. Especially only the flush draw suited cards here we can leave. But I guess sixes are folding here and eights are folding, and yeah, only the flush draws here will call. Yeah, and we even have to cancel aces and kings, ace king offsuited and suited, because they would make a 3-bet pre-flop than just calling the raise. So there are only ace deuce to ace 5 suited, pocket 7, pocket 9, and those ace queen to ace 10 suited. Only the one who's suited who are making the flush draw, and those king queen to king 10 suited. So what's going on at the river? On the river we get, after a value bet, usually only a call of 7-7 and pocket 9s. Everything else folds, and depending on whether the flush arrives on the river, we could have hit a full house by then, where we also get chips. This is the only way we get the value. In this way, we can determine the range of our opponents, or how, as a hand analyzes, think through each street again. Of course, this is easier in the analyzers because we can take the time to think about it. But in the game, we have to be able to do just that in a matter of seconds to be successful. How does that work? Well, it's like in any sport. With training, we become faster, better, and more successful. If we train this procedure again and again, day by day, then in the game we will be able to implement this procedure faster and faster. Maybe only in the beginning if we concentrate on one table. But over time we will get it sorted out as well during the multi-table, and so successfully crush the tournaments and become a chip shipper. So the next point is, what range does our enemy gives us? Likewise, we must also consider the view of our opponents. How does the enemy see us? What does he think when I think about calling or raising, or for a long time thinking before I just call? Time tells. So if he also thinks about our hand, he will also give us a certain range, and the story we tell with our action, like raise pre-flop, Conti bet on the flop, etc., must be consistent. If we suddenly stop playing on the turn and become passive, then our enemy will smell the roast, and on the river then perhaps rather come to the conclusion of our aggression. They will say, whoops, there is something wrong. That does not make sense. What is he playing? Either he has the absolute cocoa nuts, or in most cases a burst flush draw or ace king on a queen high board, and at the end they will easy bluff catching us, or they are just betting us, and we have to fold them. So let's look at an example. I will show you this hand here. We have ace, jack, we have 30 big blinds. Our enemy in the big blind has 30 big blinds too, and I am making a raise pre-flop, 2.5 big blinds, and he is defending the big blind. So, for example, what range do we give him? We can give him the range of defending the big blind with many hands, like every pocket, and all the Broadway cards we can give him, off-suited and suited of course, and we will give him any ace suited. King 10 is good here. I guess that's absolutely okay. And we have some cards like these: 10-9 suited, 8-9 suited, 7-8 suited, 6-7 suited, maybe 7-9 suited I will add to. And we have to get rid of aces, kings, queens, maybe jacks. The ace king, they would all 3-bet pre-flop. And ace queen too. So now we look at the turn. At the flop, he checks and I bet almost half the pot and he calls. So I guess he will fold any hand under pocket 5. I'm not sure about sixes, but I would fold here. And yeah, anything else I would leave in there. 6-7 and those for the flush I would leave in there too. And maybe some of these cards I would get rid of. And yeah. I guess I would fold these hands as well. Not really good here. So what's happening on the turn? We are getting dealt the spade 6. So we both check, and on this turn, on this especially turn, he should protect his straights, like 7-8 suited, pocket 8s, 8-9 suited, he should protect. Yeah. Anything else, it's okay if he's just calling, because 7-9 suited can make a full house. Pocket 9 can make a full house. Pocket 10 maybe just calling, just checking, because he's hoping to get the 8 on the river. 10 jack the same. And yeah, any set is okay. And now we can look at the river card. We have the 3 of hearts. It's almost a blank. Doesn't make anything changing. So what is he doing now? He is betting half the pot, and a little bit more as half the pot. So now we can think about what he is betting, what hand range he is betting. I guess he is betting the 10-9 suited for value. I guess not. It's more like a value bet fold range. So he's betting it not too much, but folding to earn raise. The same like 6-7, because it's only 2 pairs. The same with any set. He should just bet and fold. And any other cards like suited, like flush draws, he should just bluff and fold then. And here I made a mistake. I folded. I guess in this spot it would have been better to rebluff or just calling him, because I don't see any 8 in his range. We just deleted it at the turn. Yeah. Okay, this was an example how to analyze and look and think in ranges. You see? Alright, let's go to the next point: blockers in relation to bluffs. Suppose we have ace of diamonds and 10 clubs on a board with 3 diamonds on the turn, and our enemy bets 3 big blind on the turn. Let's say in the pot we have 12 big blinds in the pot, and we both have 17 big blinds behind. So we are, yeah, like pretty deep, not really deep, but it's okay. Then, in this case, we could fold him. We could bring him to fold many hands with a shove on the turn. Since we considered we have the ace of diamond, he can never get to the nut flush. So you have always think what he might think about our range to make it reasonable, you know? So we go over to the conclusion. If we bet preflop and do not connect to the board, then it's better to check the flop, bluff on the turn, and then decide on the river whether to bluff or to try to win the showdown with ace high. If we connect well to the board or hit hard on the flop, then we can bully well. We can barrel and evaluate on the river depending on the structure. If we can still get chips or even shove with our value bet, so that our opponent thinks we are bluffing now. And yeah, okay, we are looking at the next hand now. We are making one more analyze. So let's take a look at this hand here. We have only 3 players in the hand, 24 big blinds versus 22 big blinds at the bottom, and he is making a min raise. So let's take a look at his hand range pre-flop again. We can give him this range again, and in this case he is on the button and we are only 3 players, so he's in position, so we can widen his range. For every pocket I would raise here, and all suited aces, all suited kings, I guess. Any ace, any king. And yeah, what else? We can let him play Queen 9 suited, Jack 9 suited, 10-8 suited, 9-10 suited, any Broadway cards. We have like 5-6, 7-6, 7-8. Yeah, like 7-9, 9-8. So I also defend my big blind pretty wide. So we can see a flop now here. And we hit the jack, but there is a king and a 10. So now we delete any hands like he was making the straight on the flop. So we have to get rid of ace queen, and yeah, he should have to protect. And as well we can delete ace king here because he shouldn't check on the. No, wait. Yeah, he checked on the flop, so he should have bet the flop if he has ace king. So it doesn't make sense to check here, you know. So yeah, here we are. I guess we can get rid of ace jack because we're blocking the jack. What else? Blah, 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 I guess King Kong should have bet because of the flush draw. Then jacks and tens. We are blocking jacks, so I guess he shouldn't have jacks here, and the tens should have protect 2. So I guess any kings except king jack off, king queen off, king 10 off, king 9 off. Any other kings he should bet. Then I guess 10 jack suited and jack 9 suited we can delete here. He should bet here. And yeah, and I guess he should not bet, but we are blocking these cards too. Please, if I am wrong, write in the comments. Maybe I am absolutely wrong, but it's the way I think, so we're just going on here. And yeah, we should delete the 7s here, 7, 8, 7, 9, pocket 7, 6, 7. We are all blocking these cards. All king suited cards we can get rid of, because he just needs to have different colors with the king, and those should protect with it. So I guess we can go on. We see the turn is completing the flush draw. So that's interesting now. So let's see what we are doing. We bet half the pot and he calls. So what is his range now? If he's calling on the turn, I guess we can get rid of the queens, the pocket 9s, the pocket 8s, and yeah, 6ers down to the deuces. Any ace off-suited, he should fold. Okay, let's go on. And this is interesting river card, because now everybody can have a full house. He's beating the flush. So on the river, the calling range, we can drop here. I guess what I'm doing here. I'm betting half the pot, not half the pot, third pot, a third pot, and he's just calling. So with what cards he is just calling. So we have to think about in ranges, and I guess we can get rid of the queens. I almost did, yes. The pocket 9s and no, whoop. Just wait a minute, please. So I guess queen 10 suited, queen 10 off suited. He's not calling anymore. So all flushes will call except the nut flushes. The nut flushes will raise. So we can get rid of any nut flush hands. I guess we're calling aces is just a calling. And maybe, yeah, okay, aces are in. But just in calling range, not in the raising range. In the raising range, only the nut flushes are. So he can call with king 10 or king 9, king 10, king jack, king queen. Those are bluff catchers. And the queen 9 off-suited we don't have in here anymore. Yeah, we should have, because it made complete the straight on the flop. And yeah, just calling, not raising, because if I have flush or full house, he will be beaten. So the folding range against my if I going to bet higher on the river is 10 jack only, I guess. So this is just how to get an idea of how to think in ranges and how to look at those spots. And yeah, If you... well, that should have been first. I hope you can do something with it, and I could help you a little bit to make your analysis and session reviews more effective. And if you have questions about the video, check it out in the comments, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Until the next time, thanks for watching, chip shippers. Bye bye.